Supervisor Miller.
I'd just like to address some of the items that I had some comments on. The first one is the 1% cap. And this 1% cap limits the total primary property taxes for all homeowners to 1% of the limited property value. And I note this protection is strictly for homeowners. It does not impact, it does not protect businesses. There is no protection for other classes such as business and residential rental property, as was brought up earlier. The state general fund had been making up the overage gap by subsidizing the jurisdictions, including Pima County, which had overrun the constitutional cap. This subsidy now has been cut to $1 million per county, so we're still getting a subsidy of $1 million per county from the state. I believe we need to work, I think it's better for us to work with the local jurisdictions that are contributing to the primary property tax, including Pima County, Pima Community College, the school districts, and the city of Tucson, and any other jurisdiction that is imposing a primary property tax. I think it would behoove us to work with them and determine how we split those amounts of overage among the various jurisdictions that contribute, as well as determining how we allocate the $1 million that we're still being subsidized. I personally would like to see this agreed to locally versus putting it back on the state where we have less control. But I understand that this is the where the board wants to go with this. Property tax reduction.
Point of order, Madam Chair. Didn't we already approve this item?
No.
Item 5?
No. We're just
Earlier in the meeting?
No.
That was not the motion that was made on the floor, because that's the way I understood it.
No.
Okay.
No,
I thought it was off. If we had
no,
unanimous vote about it.
we didn't. It replaces, this replaces that.
I was not to do the motion, frankly, but okay.
And regarding the property tax reduction for the sale, imposing a sales tax for the jail, well, I think this would be a good idea to restructure how we bill our jail costs. I can't support it simply because I don't trust that after we got the sales tax approved, then we'd immediately start increasing the primary property tax rate again. There's no guarantee there. Regarding state cost transfers, again, the $17.3 million, which is affiliated with the state aid to education backfill from the 1% cap. I refer back to item 1. I think that we would be better off figuring this out locally. The 1.1 million Arizona Department of Revenue collection costs, I think it's a reasonable cost for us to bear to pay for the collection and distribution of our tax monies. The $1.1 million on the presidential preference election, I support that. I have been to the legislature, and I'm confident that they will support legislation making these monies or allocating these monies back to Pima County, and I hope that we see that. Regarding the DPS for Border Strike Force, Border Enforcement Initiative, you talk about additional costs once they allocate these monies to us. You're concerned about the additional costs that are imposed on the county, and in this one in particular, you're talking about the prosecution and defense of the individuals that will result from this additional enforcement. I don't see any problem addressing this. However, I would like to note that even on today's agenda, consent item 8, we have been awarded and we are accepting a $350,000 grant from the state to address these anticipated costs related to the Border Strike Force initiative. So it does appear the state is on the same page with us. I see no problem in moving forward and ensuring that any grant monies or actions that the state takes that ensure that we do get compensated for any additional costs. The adequate funding for transportation, I do have some issues with regarding the energy efficient vehicles, penalizing them because we had a 46% increase in fuel efficiency. I do understand this has decreased our revenues. However, I cannot support a gas tax increase or a sales tax until all of the HERF and VLT that we receive back from the state for road repairs are utilized for road repairs. Monies are being moved and diverted, and just because we can legally move these monies doesn't mean we should be moving these monies. And these are outlined in the Roads to Recovery brochure, the various areas that the monies are going. So that's my issue there. And the Department of Transportation Director stated during the budget hearings that we are expecting an 8% increase in the revenues from HERF this year. However, she stated 0 monies are being allocated to pavement preservation this year. Protecting transportation monies from diversion by the state via the sweeps. I support that. I think we should be actively hoping that we are not getting any further sweeps from the state, noting that this year there are none. The RTA sales tax for road repair. I think this makes it very difficult allocating between the jurisdictions by putting a sales tax into the RTA to allocate back to the various jurisdictions for road repair. Again, I get back to the fact that the HERF revenues are not being spent where they should be spent, which is road repair. And this year we saw the issue with the bonds. Some jurisdictions were not receiving as much benefit as others. And how could I support an additional sales tax when the District 1 road monies have been swept by this board every single year since I've been elected? Election integrity, I fully support the update of these laws and agree the laws are outdated, and I support the scanning of ballot images. I think it's a key component of fair and verifiable elections. And specifically, I think the statutes regarding audits should be updated to include the samples of local races, ballot initiatives, and referendums, as we all had to deal with that issue back a month ago. Economic recovery and job creation, and fully in support of any legislation that supports and facilitates economic development efforts that benefit the entire state. And the exchange for legal services, I can't support this because I believe, and what this does is takes out the need for intergovernmental agreement when we work with other agencies, other jurisdictions. I believe we need to leave these IGAs in place. One might think it is an obstacle, however, I believe the trade-off between risk and convenience makes it clear agreements should be in place to ensure there are no misunderstandings or unnecessary risk burden imposed on the taxpayers. The other ones, incompetent and dangerous criminals, sounds reasonable to ensure the safety of the community. And regarding Supervisor Carroll's additional item, I just wanted clarification on that. Is that going to impose any additional requirements on the manufacturers of vehicles, or is this simply a code change for the state?
It's to change and codify that these are allowable in Arizona, as they have recently done in Utah. It will not be mandatory. It will be an option that will be available to consumers in the aftermarket if it's approved by the state legislature.
Okay, thank you. Then I would support that as well. Therefore, while I agree with some of these items in the aggregate, I can't agree to support this resolution for legislative agenda in its entirety. Thank you.